What's good, everybody? Hope y'all are doing well and staying safe. Want to go over the progress Danny and I have made so far in our game that we have been working on. I'm still waiting on the final stages of the Steam account approval to release the name of the software company and the game name itself, but as soon as that's done, I can work on the store page as the trademarks are in a good spot to allow for me to do that safely. Before we get into what's being done or what's been done in a concept aspect, there will be a lot of mixed placeholder assets and ones intended for the game. As for what is what, only time will let you know that. Now, as for what is done, I'm going to be starting with the potion store, which is where you'll go to make your buffs and or gear. For the video, I will be using them interchangeably, but in the game, they will be labeled as buffs. When making buffs, you will be able to pick from one stat in each row and select from the values below that stat, on which you will be using your soul points, which is a standard currency gotten from doing missions. And going from left to right, the values of each box are as followed: 5, 10, 20, 50, 80, and 100% of your current soul points that you have. Spending your soul points does real-time update for other stats if you have them pre-selected. So keep that in mind when selecting your stats, and you can use other stats to temporarily reduce your soul points to better meet the exact value of a stat you wish to have. And then you can freely refund the other stats to gain those levels back. Now, upon further release of the game, we will be having a tooltip on the right side explaining each stat, if it has a cap, what that cap is, and if there isn't a cap, at what point in the game it does become unstable to use, because there will be some things in the game that are left uncapped, and this is more for in the purposes of speed running and such like that, which I kind of just wanted to give the player the ability to chance to do if they so wanted to. You can either name the gear yourself, or you can leave it blank for a default name, which will be placed and named depending on the actual correlated slot. So such as the first one will be buff slot 1, but the second one will be buff slot 2, and so on and so forth. To take advantage of all the slots you can have, there will be an option to increase the amount of buffs that you can bring into a mission. That can be bought in the gear creation menu. The AI party system allows you to have a party that is only connected to your actual health bar, i.e. every 20% health that you will lose one party member. But if you do fully heal yourself, all of the party members that you have lost will respawn to rejoin you. Defaultly, when standing still, they will pretty much spread out in a lowercase t formation to cover each side of the player. But if your movement is slow enough, you can reposition them by moving away from one more than the other, allowing for a bit more of a custom placement. In the first mission, both players and enemies scale off the same thing, which is kills of the enemy, which in turn leads to faster scaling as you progress throughout the game. There will be two different types of obstacles to deal with in this mission, one being standard walls, which just of course standardly limits how big the map is, and the other will be things like beds, tables, and chairs, which will cause you to lose movement speed if you run into them too far. This though can also be used to slow higher level enemies. Now, enemies though, they are able to enter the walls, and when they do, they will also respawn at a random location on the map. So these are all things that you're going to have to think about in positioning yourself in the game overall. For the enemy collision, what I set up was having the enemies actually be able to push and collide into each other so that some enemies could swap places and be able to accelerate themselves forward in a charging fashion. The reason why I did this is I wanted enemies to always be a potential threat to the player. Unlike with a lot of other games that I've played, my experiences on them is if I can block an enemy from getting to me with another enemy, then that enemy is no longer a threat, and I didn't really want that for my game. When you're saving your game, you will be ported back to the main menu, and you also will not get the soul points that you have currently collected throughout that mission. The only time that you'll actually get those soul points back is when you do die in that mission, and once you do die, your save will also be deleted. For mission 1, they're only melee mobs, but later on I will be expanding out from there. This is just to give a player a nice, good grasp of the movement system and such like that. Now, that does it for the work and the progress that we've done so far on the game. Be sure to let me know in the comments your thoughts and opinions and such like that, and I do hope y'all take care, stay safe, stay humble, be open, and as always, never stop searching. Peace, everybody.